Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. This is our Sabbath class, the 11th of June, 2022. I'll be dealing with the book of Nahum later on in the for a Sabbath discussion. I'm tied to the 10 lost tribes. And with that being said, I want to ask everybody to like, share, subscribe to the Prophets of Awakening channel. Hit our notification button. And for those that don't know, this is a non-Messianic channel. We deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. Tanakh is the Old Testament, so-called book of remembrance. And the Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament that was given to Moses on Mount Sinai by the Lord of hosts. Shalom and welcome to Prophets of Awakening channel, and welcome to our Sabbath class. We're gonna do our normal, that's a moment of silence, Sabbath prayer, Psalms, some current events, and we're going to need to know information, and I'll open it up for some Q&A, and then we'll go into the Sabbath class, the book of Nahum. Okay, so this moment of silence is for the Lord of hosts and all that he's doing along with the Creator to deliver us and to bring us back to our homeland and to who we are as people. O Lord, righteousness and uprightness belongeth unto thee. Therefore we come before thee at this hour, seeking thy face and looking for righteousness and uprightness, that we may walk before thee as thy servants David, Solomon, Samuel, and Hezekiah did, that we may walk before thee in truth and in righteousness and in rightness of heart. Give unto us, O Lord, an understanding heart, that we may discern between good and bad. For we desire to walk after thee, O Lord, and to keep your commandments and your testimony, your statutes with all our heart and our soul, to perform the words of the covenant that was written down by your prophets. O Lord, allow thy face to shine upon thy people. Hear our plea, hear and do, O Lord, and hide not thy face from us any longer, for we need you so very much at this hour. Peace be unto you. Okay. So with that being said, I'm gonna read the Psalms. It's okay. So I'm gonna read Psalms 37. What's up, prophetess?
Good morning. Good
Okay.
morning, everybody.
Okay. You picked a super duper day because I'm getting ready to read Psalm 37.
Okay.
Ain't that something?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Here we go. It says the true state of the wicked. Fret not thyself because of evildoers, neither be thou envious against workers of iniquity, for they shall soon be cut down like the grass and wither as the green herb. Trust in the Lord, do good, so shalt thou dwell in the land, and verily thou shalt be fed. Delight thyself also in the Lord, and he shall give thee the desires of thine heart. Commit thy way unto the Lord. Trust also in him, for he shall bring it to pass, and he shall bring forth thy righteousness as the light, and thy judgment as the noonday. Rest in the Lord, wait patiently for him. Fret not thyself because of him who prospereth in his way, because of the man who bringeth wicked devices to pass. Cease from anger, and forsake wrath. Fret not thyself in any wise to do evil, for evildoers shall be cut off. But those that wait upon the Lord, they shall inherit the earth. For yet a little while, and the wicked shall not be. Yea, thou shalt diligently consider this place, and it shall not be. I'm going to read that again, verse 10. For yet a little while, and the wicked shall not be. Yea, thou shalt diligently consider this place, and it shall not be. But the meek shall inherit the earth, and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace. The wicked plotteth against the just, and gnasheth upon him with his teeth. The Lord shall laugh at him, for he seeth his day is coming. The wicked have
I
gone
can't
out.
hear you anymore.
You can't hear me? You can't hear me? Okay. The wicked have drawn out the sword and have bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy and to slay such as be of upright conversation. Their sword shall enter into their own heart, and their bow shall be broken. The little that a righteous man have is better than the riches of many wicked. For the arm of the wicked shall be broken, but the Lord upholdeth righteousness. The Lord knoweth the day of the upright, and their inheritance shall be forever. They shall not be ashamed in the evil times, and in the days of famine they shall be satisfied. Okay, in the day of famine they shall be satisfied. The wicked perish, and the enemy of the Lord shall be as the fat of lambs. They shall consume, with the smoke shall they consume away. The wicked borrow and payeth not again, but the righteous showeth mercy and giveth. For such as be blessed of him shall inherit the earth, and they shall be cursed of, and he that be cursed of him shall be cut off. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delighteth in his way. Though he fall, he shall not be utterly cast down, for the Lord upholdeth him with his hand. I have been young, and now I am old, yet I have not seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. He is ever merciful and lendeth, and his seed is blessed. Depart from evil, do good, and dwell forevermore. For the Lord loveth judgment, and forsaketh not his saints. They are preserved forever, but the seed of the wicked shall be cut off. The righteous shall inherit the land, and dwell therein forever. The mouth of the righteous speaketh wisdom, his tongue talketh of judgment. The law of God is in his heart, none of his steps shall slide. The wicked watcheth the righteous, and seeketh to slay him. The Lord will not leave him in his hands, nor condemn him when he is judged. Wait on the Lord, keep his way, and he shall exalt thee to inherit the land when the wicked are cut off. Thou shalt see it. I have seen the wicked in great power, spreading himself like a green bay tree. Yet he passed away, and lo, he was not. Yea, I sought him, but he could not be found. Mark the perfect man, and behold the upright, for the end of that man is peace. But the transgressors shall be destroyed together. The end of the wicked shall be cut off. But the salvation of the righteous is of the Lord. He is their strength in a time of trouble. And the Lord shall help them and deliver them. He shall deliver them from the wicked and save them because he trusted in him. Okay, so that was Psalms 37. It's a true state of the wicked. So anytime you get beside yourself, you just turn to Psalm 37, and I'm guaranteeing you it's going to lift you up. Okay?
Amen.
Any comments on that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's been several times that I have needed to be reminded that, you know, passing judgment on anyone or any persons because of their wickedness only brings more stress to me.
Right.
And that is, that's God's job, and he already has a plan in place, and you just read it. And so that's when you look around and you um, think that perhaps what evil people are doing in this world is in plain sight, and it doesn't seem like there's any punishment near. um, we can just release that because of what you just read. And so that's a one of my favorite psalms, to keep promoting peace within my own mind and heart.
Right. Yeah, that's it's kind of crazy. My dealings with Psalms 37, because even back in the day, now I understand now who I am and all that. But back in the day, I read Psalms 37, and it do something to me, and I didn't even know what was going on. And
Mm-hmm.
then So now I know who I am, and know what's the purpose of it. Knowing David's story and the Lord of hosts and all that, it just, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It makes all the sense in the world now. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, it's crazy. Okay. So yeah. You got any comments on that? Anybody else?
I do. Shalom. I just want to say I love this song too. Every time I find myself in certain situations, I go back and I read this over and over again. You don't even have to read the whole chapter, to get an understanding of this. So, when you see evil around you and wickedness that continues to happen, sometimes we seem as though the wicked is being more, better off than we are, right? So we have to trust in the Lord. And when we trust in the Lord and do good, we know that we're always going to be safe. No matter what, he's going to take care of you. He's going to cover you, and he's not going to allow that wickedness to affect you. You're going to continue to grow, stronger. So we
Right.
just have to wait patiently on the Lord. He takes care of everything and he sees everything. Remember, he does not sleep nor slumber.
Exactly.
Yes,
Right.
hallelujah.
Right. So like I said before, when a lot of people don't realize it when you at a certain place. Matter of fact, that's what's been done to us is our understanding of who how everything works and who the Lord hosts is. So you're supposed to already be expecting if you sitting there, if you don't pray, and then you expecting a blessing to come from your prayer, you got to know wickedness gonna show up first. That's how it happens.
Exactly. Exactly.
Wickedness gonna come first. So once you gotta get that out the way, then you start expecting a blessing to come up.
Right,
I'm
right.
trying to
And
cut
it
you
may
off.
seem, yes, you're so right, Leonard, because it really, when you're looking in someone else's window, right? It really seems as though, the wicked is succeeding. They're winning, right?
Right.
They're
Exactly.
winning. But when you understand who your Lord is, who your Redeemer, your Savior, your Rock is, you know it. That's only for a short period of time.
Right. Exactly. Right. Yeah.
Yes,
So you're supposed to be already expecting that.
right.
It's like when summer come, winter coming. When the
Yes.
summer come up, the moon coming. That's how it works. So you just might as well wrap your mind around it. But before I forget, you ever seen that? You heard about the documentary, Jeanette, about what is a woman?
No.
Yeah, check it out. They premiered it a couple of nights ago, so check it out because I think Sunday or one day next week I'm gonna do a document. I'm gonna do a class on it, and then it's gonna be, just go all the way in. So what they doing is it's from the LGBT community and all that. They trying to redefine what a woman is, and you ain't gonna even believe what in that documentary when you watch it. You got just go to they got a trailer. It's called "What Is a Woman." Then I think now they got the video out now because they introduced it on a couple nights ago. I think it was Thursday night. Yeah. So anyway, I wanted to get that out there so because I don't know if I'm gonna think remember it later on in the class. So with that being said, okay. With that being said, anybody got any current events?
No, I don't have current events, but let me say this. I don't know what my phone is set on, but if somebody tries to call me, it knocks off my audio. I have to go out and come back in, um, to hear you again. So I don't know what the settings would be on my phone. I have to check it out. But so I may keep going out and coming in. It must be something I need to hear today because
Okay.
never done that before. But I'll keep going out and coming in. Anytime somebody try to call me, it knocks me off. It knocks off
Okay.
my volume.
Okay. It's all good. So anybody got any current event? Okay,
Oh,
yeah, I got it.
Uh,
I wanted to say, what was your take on the latest school shooting?
Oh, like I was saying, you know, when you understand who these people are, they I was telling you about the hydrogen dialectic, where they problem reaction solution. That's how they've been doing this for thousands of years. So they want to get our guns, right? And that they've been know that they know what's coming down the pipe. So they're gonna keep on bringing these shootings and make them get worse and more in sequence. Then the people cry out. The masses say, "What's the problem? When is the government gonna do something about this?" And so then they come in to get the guns, but they gonna bring the problem first. They're gonna create a problem, and then when you cry out, they come and do what they're gonna do. But all along, they wanted to get the weapons. So
Exactly.
they do that over and over again, even with the New Testament. In JC, they did the same thing. So it's an old trick. Like I said, it's uh you got Wendy's and you got um Popeyes. And you say I ain't dealing with the owner at Popeyes no more. I'm going to Wendy's. Well, the owner own both of them.
Yeah.
You looking crazy. He just like the Republicans and the Democrats. Same thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's how that works. They've been using that trick on us for L. What's up, Mark L? Okay, so yeah. So with that being said, anybody else got any current events? Okay, I
Yes, I
got
do. I want to just mention one that I was reading yesterday in reference to the monkeypox that is going around. And so it says U.S. military service member in Germany is military's first case of monkeypox. So I'm just going to read a little bit of it. An active duty member of the U.S. military based in Stuttgart, Germany, has been identified as having the military's first known case of monkeypox. The service member recently tested positive for monkeypox, Captain William Speaks said in a statement.
right.
The individual was seen and treated at the Stuttgart Health Clinic and is currently in isolation, recovering in their quarters off base. Okay. Also, they made sure that they put this in here. The case in Stuttgart is of the West African strand, which is generally mild and human to human transmission is limited. So they just had to make sure that they put that part in their statement.
Right. And so any you know conscious thinking person gonna say if that's the case, if it's person to person, how I get over there in Stuttgart,
Right.
and it came from West Africa. So yeah, anyway, so first thing I thought about when I heard that was every time they do something, it always start around some military base. Because that's where it's all coming from. All this stuff, all these different viruses all of a sudden come out of nowhere. They regular uh diseases or whatever you want to call them, but they've been weaponized with this modern technology. So if it's been weaponized, then it's got to come through some kind of way. It's got to come through the military because they're the ones weaponizing
Wow.
it.
Right.
So that's how that is. It's like I was just like with the bird flu back in the day. It was at Fort Meade, and if you know anything about Fort Meade, that's what they do in Fort Meade has got a branch of medical research and all that at Fort Meade. And they dealing with all these different viruses and different things over there, fumbling with them, because you can say we don't know how old the Earth is. So for all this time, you ain't had no animal diseases jumping from the animal to humans.
Right.
All of a sudden now they jumping from animals to humans because they tampering with them and arming them for they able to do that. You know,
Right.
yeah. Was there
Oh,
something?
mm-hmm.
What's up, Mike? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was as Michelle was reading about the monkeypox, it's actually laughable what they've been doing to us because, you think about chicken pox.
Right.
And then they told us that I believe one virus came from bats. You, you
Right, exactly.
that's
Right,
horrible.
right. All this time, bats been here for we don't know how long. It ain't nothing. It ain't junk.
Right.
Now
It's
all of a sudden it jump.
right. And so it speaks to how successful they have dumbed down the masses that they could even bring such buffoonery,
Right,
monkeypox, chicken
right,
from the bat, from the pig, and then one person comes in from China and contaminates the whole United States. Come on.
right. Exactly. Yeah, I even go further than that. It's like I said, it's a way of thinking that they didn't took away from most people is okay. You remember those 500 scientists, German scientists they brought over here from Germany? They called it Project Paperclip. That was that was the whole reason the United States got into the war. Was they wanted them scientists.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see that once they got them, how America shot upon over the rest of the world with technology.
Right.
So the thing about it is, so go back to we talked about this before, maybe a couple years ago, how they can take a monarch butterfly and they can take a firefly that light up at night, and they
Yes.
can go in and get that particular gene that make that firefly light up, put it in that monarch butterfly, and he start lighting up.
Yes.
So
Yes.
this is my thing. Now they saying that you know they don't know whether or we have an interaction with angelic beings or fallen angels, all that. How you think you're able to do that? It ain't but one answer to that. Who showed you how to do that?
Mm.
See what I'm saying? And
Mm.
then them 50 scientists, them 500 scientists, who they talking to?
Right.
Come on. We fumbling with it. The scripture's telling you all day long that, I was showing people last night that when Moses was on the hit the rock with his staff and the water came out, the Bible tells you the Lord also standing on top of the rock. So he was there. So
Right.
you got good angels and you got bad angels.
Yes.
So they talking to somebody. Like I said, with the UFOs. I mean, people just don't they fumbling with it. So the lady says she stayed in Miami in some kind of little high dollar lagoon area where they got a lagoon, blue water and all that. So she wakes up and she got a big old picture window. She look out the picture window and there's a flying saucer over the water. And guess what it's doing? It's sucking the water up out
Mm.
of the water. It's sucking the water up out of the lagoon into the spaceship.
Right.
See what I'm saying? So
Right.
like, they know what we ain't got an idea what's going on. They know what's in the water.
Mm.
Yeah.
We got to go all down and get gas and dig out in the earth and get what we need to try to make a car run. They using water.
Mm-hmm.
Come
Mm-hmm.
on. So who you think driving it? Come on, man. They
Mm.
phone.
Come on.
You see what
So
I'm saying?
you saying that those scientists are dealing.
No, the beings know, like the Most High tell us in the book of Enoch. He says, when you understand what condensation and
You
evaporation
saying
is.
those scientists are dealing with the fallen angels?
Right, exactly. It's supernatural beings. So with condensation and evaporation is when the sun, the creator created the sun, it draws the water up. First the water fall on the earth, and everything on the earth need water. Then the sun brings it, the sun draw it back up in the heaven, and then it get replenished and fall back down again. So the book of Enoch tells you it's something in the water.
Mm.
It's anointing in the water, and it's
Mm.
in the water it falls to the earth. It does what it. That's why the plants grow. Then
Right.
the sun bring the water back up and replenish it again. It keep on doing the same thing.
Wow.
What
Right.
these bees, they just like roaches. They know that.
Mm.
So they got the spaceship doing what it's doing. It's getting water. It's putting water, something in the water. We just don't
Right.
know. We don't know how to deal with it.
Okay.
Right. Because
Shalom. Oh, go ahead.
go ahead,
Go
baby.
ahead.
I was just gonna say, I don't know if you all ran across this story, but the security guard that was working at the top store in Buffalo that got killed.
Right,
I ran across a video that he had came up with it where a car could run off of water.
right, exactly.
So I'm going to share that video, and that was very interesting to me, and that just makes me think about how the government works, right? If this was
Right,
all set up, because he was operating a car off of water
right, exactly.
when
And
he
then,
was saying we don't need gas.
right, right, exactly. Right.
Hear
And
what
then,
Michelle said. I'm sorry.
go ahead. You gonna repeat that?
Yes, I was saying the police officer, well, he was a security guard at the time that got killed at the Tops grocery store in Buffalo.
Right,
I ran across a video that he had invented, which he done the engine over, where the car could run off of water instead of gas. So, when you know about the government, right, it just makes you think about, different things of to really why all of this happened, right?
right,
Because he had put out a couple of videos on this, and he was saying we don't need gas.
right,
The car can operate off of water.
right. 90.
Now he is dead. Right.
Right. Ain't that something?
Wow.
What's up, Lena? Okay, yeah, ain't that something?
Yeah, I'm gonna go back and find that video. It's on YouTube. And it was just very interesting. I was thinking
Exactly.
like, wow, you
Yeah.
know?
Right. Yeah, you gotta go back and look at the human body. As spectacular as the human body is, what make it tick? Water.
Yeah. Yeah.
Water.
Yeah. And then they say that I don't know if you guys have seen any advertisements about us being able to hook up to a computer, just our body, you know, or
Right.
they putting a chip in our mind, and you being able to, like, if you have to go to school for 6 or 8 months to learn a subject, you're going to be able to download the information into your brain.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. They showed you that if you go back and look at the Matrix. Remember how they have to sit down and they put that thing in their back, plug it
Exactly.
into the back, and then what his name, Morpheus told Neo, that I'm showed him how to do karate, but he plugged him up to that thing. Then Neo knew how to do all kind of karate. They downloaded it into him. They showing you all that right there on the movie. Okay. Yeah, I got a couple of current events right here.
All the lies are starting to catch up. Let's talk about it. So it's getting to the point where we just can't be lied to anymore. We know what's happening. It's too obvious. It's in front of our face every time we go outside. We go to the gas station, anything. I went to a gas station today. I'll put a picture up. 5.14. Okay. 5.14 a gallon. That is nuts. Nuts. And I want to just remind everyone what our leaders have said to us really quick, because I don't really see any other way around this being intentional, because their words are just so obvious, and it's just like it seems like they don't care. They know what's coming, but they really don't care. and they're just forcing it upon us anyways, even though people are just like reaching a point where they are not going to be able to afford to like.
Can you hear the video?
Yes.
Okay. Hold on 1 minute.
Drive to work at a certain point, especially rural people that have to drive 45 minutes to work, an hour to work every day. You're getting screwed right now. You're getting screwed. You're probably paying $50 a day just in gas. So let's dive into what they said really quick, because that's really key to what else we're going to get to. So stay tuned, and then we'll get into some more specifics. But here's what they said, just as a refresher. So I covered this a few weeks ago now, but this was at the World Economic Forum, and this is out of the New York Times. I couldn't click on their article because they have like a subscription thing. I'm not paying the New York Times money. No thanks. But this was a quote. I could still get it from a search engine. So it said, "We need to accept that there will be some pain in the process," said Kristen Brather, CEO of Norwegian financial service giant DNB. So that was at the WEF. We need to accept that there will be some pain in the process. And she was talking about energy prices and the transition that we're having. We'll get to that in a second. Of all the prices just skyrocketing overnight. And it's just saying, just accept it, just accept the pain. So let's also get into this quote really right here about the incredible transition that we're experiencing. This was just a couple weeks ago too. Biden seems to praise high gas prices as incredible transition Americans must go through. And look at that. It said the national average for gas was only $4.56 back then. Those were the good days, right? Back on May 24th. Those were the good days, right? Just a couple weeks ago. And now it's $5.14 I just paid somewhere, and it's like $4.99 national average. So incredible transition, incredible leadership, incredible skills and foresight to see all these problems that we're having. So let's dive in a little bit deeper and just get to these points, because it's insane. I feel so bad for people that have money in the stock market, have 401ks, they invested their whole life in retirement and stuff like that. And now the stock market experienced another crash due to the CPI inflation numbers that came out today. So this is from CNBC. Dow dives 800 points. S&P 500 posts the worst week since January after inflation hits a 40-year high. So this is incredible, guys. This just getting wrecked left and right, just everywhere you turn, just getting knocked in the face. That's what this feels like constantly. I keep saying it, but I just paid $5.14 at the gas station. I just like, it's one of those things. I even have a normalcy bias. It's like gas won't get over $5. There's no way, because I've never even seen like the $5 on the dollar symbol before, on the dollar sign. I'm not against like companies making money. That's what makes the world go around. Okay, but it's also
this is a full 3
ridiculous that they're making 3 times what they made last year in profit when we're paying double the gas prices. Okay, gas prices have doubled since the inauguration. Okay, they've doubled. Gas prices have doubled, and their profits have tripled. So that's kind of crazy. That's just another thing that's like sketchy, doesn't make sense. Like, is this even real? This.
So any comments on that? Yeah, because like I was saying, the reason I'm showing is that, you know, we come across stuff like this and we thinking that, you know, it's just things taking their natural course. But no, it's not the case. These people dictating everything. They dictating everything behind the scenes and got you thinking that, the average person thinking that they got some kind of choice or they can do something about it. It's all been scripted, and they playing. They taking the people in the world to a certain place. They've been doing this forever and a day. Prime example is the state of Israel that's over there now. When you go back to the research, you find out World War I and II, they was setting you up. They were setting up those Edomites are setting up to get the land of Israel the whole time. And they finally made an agreement with the Balfour Agreement behind the scenes, tied with Winston Churchill. And then all of a sudden, right after World War II, they pop up in 1948, and like they returned to the land of Israel, but they had been plotting it all along. Like I said, these gas prices and all this, they going somewhere with it. And they got us brainwashed. The New Testament, and JC, all that is brainwashing. And they got they got the majority of the population believing all that because they didn't, it's scripted. And they've been working, in sequence. One grandfather set the grandson up, the son come, he tell his son, they just been going on. It's a perpetual thing. That's the reason why they got so much money rather than the masses. Masses only have a certain amount of money. They got all the money hoarded up. It's because of that. They've been plotting and scripting all this. So I said all that to play this right here. This ought to wake people up right here. Let me get it.
Very interesting one. Let's dive in.
Well, you spoke several times before about ideological subversion. That is a phrase that I'm afraid some Americans don't fully understand. When the Soviets used the phrase ideological subversion, what do they mean by it?
Ideological subversion is the process which is legitimate, overt, and open. You can see it with your own eyes. All you have to do, all American mass media has to do, is to unplug their bananas from their ears, open up their eyes, and they can see it. There is no mystery. There is nothing to do with espionage. I know that espionage intelligence gathering looks more romantic. It sells more deodorants through the advertising, probably. That's why your Hollywood producers are so crazy about James Bond type of thrillers. But in reality, the main emphasis of the KGB is not in the area of intelligence at all. According to my opinion and opinion of many defectors of my caliber, only about 15% of time, money, and manpower is spent on espionage as such. The other 85% is a slow process, which we call either ideological subversion or active measures, активные мероприятия in the language of the KGB, or psychological warfare. What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country. It's a great brainwashing process which goes very slow, and it's divided in 4 basic stages. The first one being demoralization. It takes from 15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation. Why that many years?
Okay, so see what he's saying? He says it's a process. It works over time. Like, so what's a good example of that is this homosexual thing. Look, you go back and back in the late 80s, and they started injecting the young boys with estrogen, female hormones, and they injecting girls with the testosterone, male hormones. Okay, over 15, 20 years, then you start seeing, now look where it said. This ain't just come out the blue. And so they got you brainwashed. And the whole time they was already expecting this because they know what they're doing behind the scenes. And then here go the average American or the lowly pastor talking about this, that, and another, when these people, they've been doing this forever and a day. Like these diseases that's coming out of nowhere. They've been in laboratories setting all this up. Now all of a sudden, now they bringing it out, making it look like it's some kind of natural phenomenon that's happening. When they imposing a will on you. And I keep saying over and over again how what you have to understand about the New Testament is that it's a group of men. It's a think tank. They concocted JC, and they using him to inject their will on you and impose different things, ideologies on you. And they'll say he said it, but it ain't he said it, it's they said it. It was right there in Alexandria, Egypt. When they created Serapis, and right next to Serapis they had the biggest library ever in the world. Next door to this god they created Serapis. Then Serapis later became JC. So what the guy telling you right here is they've been doing this for thousands of years. That's why I say now you got no excuse. When you hear anything anywhere, all you gotta do is go to your laptop or go to your phone and Google it. It's gonna do you all the good to Google it. Cause you're gonna learn something. But they not anticipating on us to do that. So let me pick it up a little more play, and then I'll talk some more.
Because this is the minimum number of years which requires to educate one generation of students in the country of your enemy, exposed to the ideology of the enemy. In other words, Marxism-Leninism ideology is being pumped into the soft heads of at least 3 generations
Marxist.
of ideology, to the ideology of the enemy. In other words, Marxism-Leninism ideology is being pumped into the soft heads of at least 3 generations of American students without being challenged or counterbalanced by the basic values of Americanism, American patriotism. The result you can see, most of the people who graduated in the 60s, dropouts or half-baked intellectuals, are now occupying the positions of power in the government, civil service, business, mass media, educational system. You are stuck with them. You cannot get rid of them. They are contaminated. They are programmed to think and react to certain stimuli in a certain pattern. You cannot change their mind, even if you expose them to authentic information.
That's a very interesting thing. You go after the kids. You indoctrinate the kids from a very young age. Expose them to this certain thing, this certain topic, this certain subject. So they react to it a certain way. You don't worry about the older folks. They're already stuck in their ways. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. So you go with the puppies. Teach them. They're more moldable. They're more compliant. They're like blank canvases. Genius, I must admit, but also scary because we see it going on today.
Even if you prove that white is white and black is black, you still cannot change the basic perception and the logic of behavior. In other words, these people, the process of demoralization is complete and irreversible. To get rid society of these people, you need another 20 or 15 years to educate a new generation of patriotically minded and common sense people who would be acting in favor and in the interests of the United States society.
And yet these people who've been programmed and, as you say, in place, and
Yes.
who are favorable to an opening with the Soviet concept, these are the very people who would be marked for extermination in this country?
Most of them, yes. Simply because the psychological shock when they will see in future what the beautiful society of equality and social justice means in practice, obviously they will revolt. They will be very unhappy, frustrated people. And the Marxist-Leninist regime does not tolerate these people. They will join the links of dissenters, dissidents. Unlike in present United States, there will be no place for dissent in future Marxist-Leninist America. Here you can get popular like Daniel Ellsberg and filthy rich like Jane Fonda for being dissident, for criticizing your Pentagon. In future, these people will be simply squashed like cockroaches. Nobody is going to pay them nothing for their beautiful, noble ideas of equality. A very strong national effort to educate people in the spirit of real patriotism, number one. Number two, to explain them the real danger of socialist, communist, whatever, welfare state, big brother government. If people will fail to grasp the impending danger of that development, nothing ever can help United States. You may kiss goodbye to your freedom, including freedoms to homosexuals, to prison inmate. All this freedom will vanish, evaporate in 5 seconds, including your precious lives.
Okay, anybody got any comments on that? If you want to watch that, rest of that, it's the KGB agent warning America the end is near. Any comments? Okay, yeah. So with that being said, like I was saying before, everything that we're dealing with, we're being taken to a certain place. We got people higher up positions that's taking us in a certain direction, and we sitting now, we murmuring about it and not understanding that it's all being orchestrated, taking us in a certain direction. Okay, put this right here. Yeah, you're right, sister. Okay. They don't have it. It's already food. The milk is loaded with. Okay, yeah, right. Right. Okay, so I'm gonna open it up for some Q&A. Anybody got any questions or comments about anything that we've been dealing with? Or you come across on research that you want to talk about? Okay.
Shalom, everyone. Not shall I say, a question. I just wanted to bring this up to you because, you're great with connecting dots and, explaining things, right? So, having discussions, with a few people and running across some things, right?
Right.
With this, the gay pride and food and, so forth, right?
Yeah.
So we know that there are still a lot of people that say that they, they read the Bible and, they are very knowledgeable of it, right? So
Right.
when it comes to, the unclean food, the law, because we know it's not meant for man to be with man, woman to be with woman. But you have a lot of people today that is accepting that. Even in the church, we know the church is wicked. And we have a lot of Hebrew Christians out there, right?
Right.
So even when it comes to the food, I noticed that they are still eating, pork and, shrimp and crawfish and crab and so forth. So I was asking them the question of, if you say that you're reading the Bible and you have that understanding, how can you exclude that part out? So I just wanted you to kind of like put that out, over the air and explain what is it that they are not wanting to, take in when it comes to the Old Testament. They're just more into that New Testament. And when you bring in the Old Testament, they become very defensive.
Right. It goes back. It goes back to, like I said, it's psychology. It's psychological. Like the guy was saying, you only need 20 years, which is a generation of children, a generation of kids. Because and you go look at what they got set up, 18 years. At 6 years old, they bring you into the school system, and from 6 years old to 18 years old, you've been indoctrinated. That's 20 years. So they put all this stuff in you. None of it is facts. It's just that what they done gave you, like coming up in the church. From the time you raised up, that you've been taken to the church and told you all this stuff. They bypass the Old Testament. They go straight to the New. So all you ever heard is Peter, Paul, John, Luke, and all them, and so you're indoctrinated. So when something else comes outside of that don't correlate with what they even gave you, then you looking, you all discombobulated. None of it has to do with truth. It just got to do with they didn't peak the game on how to program a person. It's like a computer with apps. You go get a brand new computer, and then you want to go on Clubhouse. Well, if you ain't got the Clubhouse app, the computer ain't gonna do nothing. You don't know what to do. It's the same thing with that. They didn't fed you what they wanted you to know from 6 years old to 18. And all they're doing is programming you for the system they got in place. They already ain't looking for you, like the sister was saying earlier. They already giving you food that's going to more than likely kill you by the time you get 60. So all they want you to do is work, and make money for them, and then die. That's what they done created. But they wasn't expecting, not understanding it's a creator. And he got prophecies, and he said he's gonna start waking us up. And that's what's happening now. He waking his people up. And they looking at it, and it ain't working. So, like I said, for example, is when you start talking about the food you just said, you so busy caught up with JC, you ain't trying to deal with you don't see that the creator in the Old Testament, he's the one that created you, and he's telling you what it is that gonna hurt your body, what food's gonna harm your body, and what foods ain't. You looking past that because you've been indoctrinated on the New Testament on JC. You ain't trying to hear that. It's like they just completely overlooked the fact that two women ain't gonna get no seed. The Most High told you he made a male and a female. The only way to reproduce is a male and a female. But they didn't overrule that. Now they expecting you to acknowledge that and respect that. When the Most High told you two women, you ain't getting nothing out of that. You ain't gonna get nothing out of two men. But we so indoctrinated, we looking past all that. It's crazy. That's how they operate. And like I said, that's the reason I keep saying we have to go back to thinking like Hebrews. Because that's who we are. We Hebrews. They didn't taken that away from us. Like, for example, me, right? I didn't endure all the horrific things that happened on the transatlantic slave trade. My forefathers on the bottom of slave ships and all that. But it's in my DNA.
Yes.
It's in my DNA. They injected it in there when they done all that horrific stuff to us. A good thing to go and do research on is MK Ultra. MK Ultra is a way to program a person's mind through torture, and that's how you get all these different people. The guy Oswald that killed King. That's what he was. It's the MK Ultra project. They They create multiple personalities within a person, and each personality they create in the brain, they bring about by torture, and then they put a name on it, and then they got a handler. You got a person that's a handler. He comes and says, if he say Rodney to that person, then Rodney gonna show up, because they didn't subject this person to all kind of horrific stuff in his subconscious, and he don't even know it. Then, or they'll say Gloria, then Gloria show up, and then and people ignorant to all that. That's what they got. People all over. They done raised up like that. I wouldn't even be surprised that all the people they bring on the scene, like the presidents. They tell you that the president ain't elected; he's selected. He's been groomed from a little boy all the way up to be the president. He gonna do whatever they want him to do, and if he get outside of that, then they get killed. So the whole thing is, we living inside a matrix. But the average person can't, they can't even begin to comprehend that. And the Bible word for it is the beast system.
The beast
we fumbling with it.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Is there something?
Yeah, and you can talk to them to blue in the face, but I have learned that you just say your piece or whatever, and then leave it there, and leave them to do the rest. You know what I'm saying? Because like you say, all Israel is not Israel, so you just kind of leave it out there for them. If they fumbling with it, got a problem with it, it's not up to me to wake them up to the truth.
Right. Right, exactly. So it says right here, that's why our Creator, the Most High, tells us in Jeremiah 51:6, verses 45, to leave Babylon. Right. Yeah, we come to find out, like in my case, we come to find out they got the system in place to keep you from doing that. Like I said, I come to find out, when the Most High woke me up, back in the day, I started trying to find a way to get passport to get out of here, and they got all kind of laws in place to keep you here, like child support. You got a felony, you can't go nowhere. So yeah, but you wouldn't know all that until you start trying to find, like they say, you put a electric fence around a pasture, and then the cows, they come up to that electric fence and they shock them, and then after 6 months or so, they just take the electric fence down. They ain't gonna go no further than that. They're gonna stay right there, 1,000 years. They don't even have the fence gone. That's how they work. So yeah, with that, so yeah. And there's some. So let me play this right here. I think this was a pretty interesting topic. That's why I'll play this and then we'll discuss it. Then we'll go into the lesson.
Popped up and I'm back with another video. Listen, man, we got to talk about this. We got to talk about it, man. Like, comment, subscribe if you ain't done that already. And if you or anybody you know want to promote their products on our pages, go to Pop It Up Promo. We're going to get it on. We're here to talk about these Brazilian butts and these titties and all this stuff. We're here to talk about all that. Now, listen, I'm going to say this up front. No disrespect. If that's what you did and what you want to do, be my guest. I love you regardless. We just going to talk about this situation. Now, a lot of these women and men go get these surgeries for the wrong reason. When you get these surgeries and enhance your booty, your titties and all that, you're going to attract the wrong energy. See, I can't tell you nothing about a woman. So when you speak as a woman, I'm listening. But you can't tell me nothing about a man. A man sees with his eyes. And the first thing about any man or woman really is the attraction. So when you go do yourself all up externally,
don't forget about internally. You can't have a big booty, big titties, and got an ugly ass attitude. And this is where a lot of times women go wrong. They get their body done and their self-esteem go through the roof and they have a nasty attitude, or they don't have no patience and stuff like that. And all I'm saying is this. I'm not saying all women, but a lot of them do. So what I am saying is this. When you change your external, you got to change your internal. You can't put a big ass motor in a car and not change the transmission, not change the drive shaft, the gearbox, the brakes. You have to alter other things to compensate for that new you. Another thing is this: if you're doing it for the wrong reason, especially if you're in a relationship, a lot of doctors will tell you this shit ruins relationships. Because guess what's happening? Now your lady want to be seen and she want to wear these little dookie shorts and the titties to be, man, come on. I understand, you want to get your little groove back or whatever the case may be. But just understand what comes with this. And I'm not saying this is you. And I'm not trying to stop you from doing it, or if you have, I'm just trying to bring something to your attention. Okay? It is true. When you go get these things done, a lot of them get it done for attention. And all I'm saying is when you get that type of attention, man, it changes the dynamics of things. You know what I'm saying? Now you want to be out more. You want to wear these skimpy clothes more. You want to be seen. You want this attention. And some people going to say, well, I ain't getting it from home. Bro, it be so many reasons people lie to themselves to get these surgeries. But all I'm saying is be real with yourself. You know that's what you're trying to do. Just be real with yourself. And not to mention, these damn surgeries are so freaking dangerous.
Well,
I found this flaw. There's a loophole that the lottery didn't see, and I won 15.
The state of Florida taking action against a local doctor who performs plastic surgery in Miami. Dan?
Yeah, Jackie, the Department of Health is restricting the license of Dr. Arnaldo Valls after one of his patients died after undergoing a Brazilian butt lift procedure. For the time being, he is not allowed to perform liposuction or butt lift. Back in December, mother of three Kizzy London traveled from Louisiana to Jolie Plastic Surgery to undergo the procedure with Dr. Valls. In documents filed just this week, the health department says after Dr. Valls removed fat from her midsection and was injecting fat into her backside, he went too deep and hit a vein. That fat then traveled to her lungs, causing her to stop breathing. She went into cardiac arrest and later died. Even though it's legal for any doctor to perform plastic surgery in Florida, regardless if they're certified in this area or not. Our NBC6 investigations found she's one of 10 women who died after undergoing the same procedure.
Like I'm trying to tell you, see, it's crazy, right? That women feel this way about themselves, and they'll say, "Oh, that's what y'all men want." Or every time you on Instagram, you looking at them girl with them big booty. I want men and women to understand this. The people that run the world, that governs your actions that you take on social media, got you thinking like that. And this is gonna go above a lot of people's heads, because a lot of times people don't understand this. When you on social media, these people pay attention to everything you like and don't like. And not only that, they can push on you what they want you to see. You have to understand, pay attention to what goes on in the world. They'll start pushing shit on social media that complements that. Now, when you see where men love women with big booties, and even women say, "Oh, that's all men want," you have to understand, bro. Back in the days, it had nothing to do with no big ass booty. You could be skinny as this damn pole. All they wanted was a cute face back then. Now, your face can look like a damn dump truck, as long as you got that body in that shape. Who altered or who changed how we see women today? Social media, the things you see in TV, everything around you gave you the perception, men and women, that's what we want. So all I'm saying is this: you have to be careful of why you're going to get on that table, because there's a chance, and I'm not trying to scare nobody, but it is dangerous, and I just showed you that it is dangerous. You have a family, and I don't want you to just say, "Oh, I'm finna go get this done for attention," with all this on the line. Man, fuck attention. Because I'm gonna tell you something. You could be at the red light in your BMW, your Mercedes, your Porsche Cayenne, and you could be with your husband, and he got a $300-400 suit on, and y'all got good jobs. Y'all could be miserable as hell because y'all don't have that balance. I got everything else but the small essential things that makes a relationship click. Y'all could be at the red light waiting, ain't talking to each other, pissed off, and see two homeless people walk by holding hands. They just as happy as hell. They got balance. What they say, life is about balance. It's just like a recipe. You can't have too many eggs and not enough flour to make this cake come out the way it's supposed to. So a lot of times when you go get your body done, you can't just say, oh, I look nice. I don't have to do that, or I don't have to do that. Because like I say, after 2-3 years of that nice looking body, it don't look the same when you done saw the same body 2-3 years. So you have to have some outside of your exterior or your big butt, big titties, or whatever you got going on. Same with men. It's the same thing with men. You have to have some other than that to hold this thing together, to bond this relationship together. Having a nice look is a plus. But you want a person. I ain't gonna say a woman. So you want a man or a woman with who knows you, who knows how to be affectionate, who knows when company come around how to act, who can pay attention to her mate and know what that person like and don't like, and can amplify that. It's so many.
Okay. Any comments on that?
Yes, shalom.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. So we have to understand there is no need to do that, and I think the one thing is, like she's saying, society has us programmed a certain way, right?
Right.
So first of all, as as women, we seem to want to go out and look. We should not be looking. Rachel didn't go looking for Jacob, you
Right.
know, and a man of God is going to see past the enhanced part of a woman's body.
Right.
That is not what makes a woman.
Okay.
It's like he was saying, it's what's in the inside.
Right.
You can have a beautiful body, the nicest figure, whatever the case may be. But if you're ugly in the inside, it's going to show on the outside.
Exactly.
So women, we have to not go out looking for men.
Right.
And we have to start with correction somewhere.
Right. So you was all the person. The thing about that is the person was already told. They just went and got a Brazilian butt job.
Right. Right.
They ain't go get no psychological help. They just went and got a Brazilian butt. So now you got somebody with a Brazilian butt that still got issues.
That's crazy as all get out. Right.
Well, yeah.
Exactly.
So like you were saying, you got if you're gonna go get a Brazilian butt job, then when you get through with that, go see a psychiatrist. That's on both sides, man or woman. You can't fix one thing. You got to get all of them, get the whole job shebang, or go to a counselor.
Okay. We shouldn't be on the table anyway. If it
Right.
don't drop, it don't drop. You know what I'm saying? Leave it alone.
Right.
Just like they got you can get on the table to lift your breast. They got bras that'll lift your breast. So you shouldn't be on the table anyway.
Exactly.
Just roll with it.
Oh yeah. But that's one of the things I'm saying that dawned on me. I know it wasn't nothing but the creator, but it's like water. We just found out, how spectacular water is. Well, these folks can create and then tell you, and we go for it, that Gatorade better for you than water.
Oh yes, right.
See what I'm saying? But we ain't thinking. We go for the okie doke, Yeah, so another example, like I said, with JC, when he said And now this is where the trick come in at. I tell any Christian. So he himself is written in red. He said, if you can believe it, John the Baptist is Elijah. Right? Hell no. John the Baptist ain't none Elijah. Elijah came was born of a woman. He got a body and a soul in that body. John the Baptist got a body and a soul. John the Baptist ain't none of no Elijah. That's a lie from the pits of hell. So why is he saying that? Because Elijah is expected to come. When the Old Testament closed out, it tells you Elijah gonna come. He ain't came yet. So that's why they're telling you John the Baptist Elijah, because then you go back to Matthew, and that's when John came. So they trying to tell you Elijah already came back. Hell no, Elijah ain't came back yet. That's a lie. But like I said, we ain't looking at all that. So then right there, that tells you, this dude is suspect. Because he just told me this right here. You know what I'm saying? This ain't the truth. He's suspect. But, we go for the okie doke. Ain't there something? Okay. Anybody else got any comments on that? On anything? Before we move on to the Sabbath class? Okay. With that being said, so let that ferment bounce around in your head for a minute. So I'm in the book of Nahum. And so what I started doing is, like I just talked about, how they tell you one thing, but that ain't what's going on. We're gonna go all the way in on it. I'm in the book of Nahum, so-called minor prophet. We got major prophets and minor prophets that they create. Like I said, book of Daniel got about 30 chapters in it. Half of them over in the New Testament. That's why they didn't reduce the chapters down in Daniel, put them somewhere else. But I'm in the book of Nahum, right? And let me get it. Okay. All right. So I'm in the front part of it, the historical settings and the purpose of the book of Nahum. Now watch this right here. So it says the prophecy of Nahum is dominated by a single idea, the doom of Nineveh, and described. So right there, if you don't know, Nineveh is tied to the 10 tribes of Israel. Nineveh is the capital city of Assyria. The king of Assyria came and got the 10 tribes because of their wickedness and took them to Assyria, right? So that's when you see Nineveh, that's what Nineveh about. So guess what? Jonah over in the New Testament. John on his way to Nineveh. Well, think about that. Wrap your mind around that. Now the reality of the 10 tribes is over in Nahum. But now we're in the New Testament, and that's where John on a boat going to. John on his boat going to Nineveh. It ain't but one narrative when you're dealing with the 10 tribes. And Nahum, John ain't got nothing to do with it. So let's look at it. So JC tell you that every prophet got a sign. Every prophet comes with a sign. And his name, the prophet tell you what the Most High doing with him according to his name. So JC tell you his sign is a sign of the prophet of Jonah. 3 days and 3 nights. Jonah was in the belly of a whale for 3 days and 3 nights. His sign is that he's gonna be in the belly of the earth for 3 days and 3 nights. But I'm telling you that Nineveh is tied to the 10 tribes. And the only reason it's tied to them, Sennacherib came and got them and took them over there to Assyria. So all that from 10 tribes, that history is all tied to that. But they didn't stuck it over here and stuck the book of Nahum in there like it's just tied in with the rest of these books. No, Nahum is dealing with the 10 tribes and the history of them being over there in that land. So now let's keep going. So it says, in describing the doom, Nahum writes lyric poetry of the highest quality. It has been called the most poetical of all prophetic writings, and certainly is the most severe in the tone of any of the minor prophets. Okay, so then it says, here go the historical setting. Being occupied with doom of Nineveh. See that? Now, no, I'm telling you, the 10 tribes over there. Nineveh is the capital city of Assyria. Nahum does not date his prophecy according to any of the kings of Israel or Judah. Imagine that. Nahum does not date his prophecy according to any of the kings of Israel. All of a sudden, it's convenient that, it ain't dated, right? He probably ministered, look at that, probably ministered during the time of Hezekiah. No, he ain't probably ministered during the time of Hezekiah. He did. Hezekiah was a king when the Sennacherib came and took the 10 tribes. Says this would certainly fit Nahum 1:9-13 is understood as a vivid description of Sennacherib's invasion of Judah and siege of Jerusalem. The only historical citation that can be identified with certainty is the reference to the Egyptians and Thebes, which were destroyed by the Assyrians in 663. The prophet cites Nineveh's destruction. Nahum and the points out if God is not to spare the city, then he certainly would not spare Nineveh, for Nineveh is not better than Thebes. Thus it can be determined with certainty that the prophecy was written after the destruction of Thebes, which it records, and before the destruction of Nineveh, which it predicts. Nineveh was destroyed in 612 BC, right? The place from which the prophet ministered is best understood as Jerusalem, which so recently had experienced near destruction by Sennacherib, king of Assyria. His siege and divine intervention is briefly described in chapter 1, verses 9-3. Now, the authorship. The author of the prophecy is named simply Nahum, the Echoite. I can't say that word. And all that is known of the prophet is gleaned from the prophecy. Probably the identity of the prophet is obscured, so his message can be prominent. The prophet's name means consolation, which gives the indication of the purpose of the prophecy. Nahum's mission was to comfort the kingdom of Judah following the destruction of Israel by Assyria, by announcing God's coming judgment on Nineveh, the capital city of Assyria. So let's look at that. So he says that Nahum, when you write and divide this, Sennacherib, king of Assyria, came and got the 10 tribes, took them over there across the Euphrates River, took them to Assyria, to Nineveh. And so Nahum come on the scene to prophesy to them about to Judah about what's going to happen to them and them understanding the fact that why the 10 tribes is taken out. So let's look at it. I'm gonna start reading with that understanding. Like I said, this ain't got nothing to do with the future. It's got to do with Nahum is dealing with the Israelites at that time, and the 10 tribes just been taken. And the Assyrians just had Jerusalem under siege. So we're in chapter 1, verse 1. It says, the burden of Nineveh, the book of the visions of Nahum, the Eskite, Echoite, whatever his name is, whatever his nationality. God is jealous, and the Lord revenges, and is furious. The Lord will take vengeance on his adversaries, and he reserved a wrath for his enemies. So let's look at it. So the king of Assyria took the 10 tribes, got them over there in captivity, just like they came and got us from the West Coast. We're still in captivity right now, waiting to be delivered. So he's telling him that he's going to judge Assyria for what they done. They came and they took the 10 tribes over there and got them over there in hostage in Babylon. And he's saying that he's going to bring somebody that's going to judge Assyria. Well, let's look at that right quick, because I talked about this before. You know what I'm saying? So some people probably ain't never heard this, but like I say, do with it what you want. So now I'm in Ezra. So when Assyria came, Nebuchadnezzar hadn't came on the scene yet. So the person that's going to come, the Most High going to use to judge Assyria is Nebuchadnezzar, right? So Nebuchadnezzar came and he conquered Assyria, but the 10 tribes there, and the king Nebuchadnezzar got 172 providences from all the conquests that he did. Well, guess what? Cyrus came after him and conquered the Babylonians. Now Cyrus got control of Assyria, or that providence. King Cyrus got 172 providences. So he over the 10 tribes now. He got the 10 tribes in his possession in Assyria, in Nineveh, right? So let's look at it. I'm in Ezra chapter 1. And I want you to check this out. Ezra chapter 1, verse 1. Now, in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled, the Lord stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia. See that? The Lord of hosts, stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout his kingdom. Keep in mind, you got 172 providences. Assyria is one of them. The 10 tribes is there, right? And he put it in writing, saying, thus said Cyrus, king of Persia, the Lord God of heaven, have given me all the kingdoms of the earth, including Assyria and the 10 tribes. He has charged me to build him a house in Jerusalem, which is in Judea. Verse 3, who is there among you of all his people? His God be with him. Let him go up to Jerusalem, which is Judea, build the house of God of Israel. He is the God which is in Jerusalem. So right here is when the 10 tribes got released. They ain't go nowhere walk down the side of the Euphrates River and ended up in America. It's garbage. He's showing you right here, when you write the scriptures, he released them right here. He said, all Israel. You got Nebuchadnezzar took Judah, Benjamin, and Levi to Babylon. And before that, king of Assyria took the 10 tribes to Assyria, to Nineveh. So right here, when Cyrus came, Cyrus got all of Israel, both the southern and the northern kingdom, in his possession. And he tell them right here, from the unction of the Lord of hosts, let them go so they can go back. Daniel 9:25, let them go back so they can rebuild the temple. So right here, these 10 tribes, when it was time for them, when Cyrus did this, all of them didn't go back. Most of them didn't want to go back to the land of Assyria. Going back to the rift I talked about last night that happened during the time of Solomon. So guess what? A lot of them went into Africa. They wanted to go somewhere to a land where nobody was, that they can serve the God, because they said that when they was in the land of Israel, they kept getting cyborg. So guess what? Wasn't nobody dwelling on the west coast of Africa. They went up to the top of Africa first and stayed up there. There's a place up there called Asherah. And then they was held there for a long time because of the sub-Saharan desert. They was that natural border was stopping them because of the Sahara Desert. Then eventually they trickled down through the Sahara Desert and ended up on the west coast of Africa. So, but what I'm showing you right here, they was all under the rulership of Cyrus. And the Most High, Lord of Hosts, told him to let them go. And he let them go right here. He says in verse 3, Ezra chapter 1, verse 3. Who is there among you of all his people? Why would he say that? He ain't say he or you of the southern kingdom. He says, who is there among you of all his people? That's because he got control of all of them. His God be with him. Let him go up to Jerusalem, which is in Judea, and build the house of God, which is in Judea. He is the God which is in Judea. Then whosoever remaineth in any place where he sojourned, let the men of his place help him with silver and with gold, goods and beasts and free will offering of the house of God that's in Jerusalem. So, like I said before, when you understand the God of Israel, the southern kingdom, when the northern kingdom wasn't doing right, 10 tribes. So he put them in a trick bag. They ended up in Assyria. Right after that, the southern kingdom was doing the same thing. He brought Nebuchadnezzar. Then he brought he brought Cyrus, and Cyrus got control of all of them, all 12 tribes. And the only reason that you don't know that because when they concocted the New Testament, they tricked all that off. But I'm showing it to you. So anyway, I'm back in Nahum, verse 4. It says, he rebuketh the sea and maketh it dry, and drieth up all the rivers. Bashan languish, and Carmel, and the flower of Lebanon languish. The mountains quake at him, the bulls melt, and the earth is burned at his presence. Yea, the world and all that dwell therein. Who can stand before his indignation? And who can abide in the fierceness of his anger? His fury is poured out like fire, and the rocks are thrown down by him. The Lord is good, a stronghold in the day of trouble, and he knoweth them that trust in him. But an overrunning flood he will make, an utter end of the place thereof, and darkness shall pursue his enemies. What do ye imagine against the Lord? He will make an utter end. Affliction shall not rise up the second time. For while they be folding together as thorns, and while they be drunken as drunkards, they shall be devoured as stubble, fully dry. This is there is one come out of thee that imagineth evil against the Lord, a wicked counsel. Thus said the Lord, though they be quiet, and likewise many, yet thus they shall be cut down. When he shall pass through, though I have afflicted thee, I will afflict thee no more. For now will I break his yoke from off thee, and will burst thy bounds asunder. And the Lord hath given a commandment concerning thee, that no more of thy name be sown out of the house of thy gods. Will I cut off the graven images and the molten images, and I will make thy grave for thou art vile. So what we read is the Syrians got the Israelites in captivity over in Babylon. Over in Assyria, and the Chaldeans got them in captivity, and the Most High got to deliver them from there. That's what Nahum is talking about. So, verse 13, for now I will break his yoke from off thy neck. He's talking about these people that got them oppressed, Israel, and I will burst thy bounds asunder. And the Lord hath given a commandment concerning thee, that no more of thy name be sown out of the house of the gods which I cut off, the graven images and the molten images, and I will make thy grave, for thou art vile. Behold, upon the mountains, the feet of him that bringeth good tidings, that publisheth peace. O Judah, keep thy solemn feast, perform thy vows, for the wicked shall no more pass through thee. He is utterly cut off. Okay, I'm going to read chapter 2 and Yeah. So it says the siege or destruction of Nineveh, right? He that dasheth in pieces is come up before thy face. Keep the munitions, watch the way, make thy loins strong, fortify thy power mightily. For the Lord hath turned away the excellency of Jacob, as the excellency of Israel. For the empters have emptied them out, and marred their vine branches. The shield shall of his mighty men is made red. The valiant men are in scarlet. The chariot shall be with flaming torches in the day of his preparation, and the fir tree shall be shall terribly shaken. The chariot shall rage in the streets. They shall jostle one against another in the broad ways. They shall seem like torches. They shall run like the lightning. He shall recount his worthies. They shall stumble in their way in their walk. They shall make haste to the wall thereof, and the defense shall be prepared. The gates of the river shall be opened. The palace shall be dissolved, and Hezab shall be led away captive. She shall be brought up, and her maid shall lead her as with a voice of doves, tabering upon her breast. But Nineveh is of old, like a pool of water. Yet they shall flee away. Stand, stand, shall they cry, but none shall look back. Take ye the spoils of silver, take the spoils of gold, for there is none in of the store of glory out of all the pleasant furniture. She is empty and void and waste, and the heart melted, and the knees smite together, and much pain is in all loins, and the faces of them all gather blackness. Where is the dwelling of the lions, and the feeding place of the young lions? Where the lion, even the old lion, walked, and the lions wept, and none made them afraid. The lion did tear in pieces enough for his whelps, and strangle for his lioness, and filled his holes with prey, and his dens with ravens. Okay, 13. Behold, I am against thee, says the Lord of hosts, and I will burn her chariots in the smoke, and the sword shall devour thy young lions, and I will cut off thy prey from the earth, and the voice of the messengers shall no more be heard. So this is a prophecy. This prophecy right here is against Nineveh. And so when you understand what's going on, he brought Nebuchadnezzar to do that. Nebuchadnezzar one cut off Nineveh. Let's read that. Connect this dot for you right quick. I'm in the pocket. I'm in the pocket of the book. Notice I'm in a whole nother book. This is what I'm saying, telling you this is what they done to us. So I'm in the book of Judah, right? Check this out. So it says, verse 1 in the book of Judah. In the 12th year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, who ruled over the Assyrians. See that? He the one conquered the Assyrians. See, he who ruled over the Assyrians in the great city of Nineveh, in the days when Arphaxad ruled over the Medes in Ecbatana. Arphaxad built around Ecbatana walls of huge stone, 400 feet wide and 9 feet long. He built the walls of 105 feet high and 70 feet wide, and the gates he built towers 150 feet high and foundations 90 feet wide, and he made the gates that rose up to a height of 105 feet and were 60 feet wide, so that his host of his warriors could march out and his infantry could form. So in those days, King Nebuchadnezzar made war on King Arphaxad in the Great Plains. This plain is on the borders of Ragag. This city right here, you're gonna see it in the book of Tobal. It's tied to the 10 tribes too. So he was joined by all the inhabitants of the hill country and all who lived along the Euphrates, Tigris, and Hydaspes, and on the plains of Arad, king of Elishma, and many nations joined the army of the Chaldeans. Then Nebuchadnezzar, king of Syria, sent to all his inhabitants of Persia, and to all who lived toward the west, who were settled in Sicily and Damascus, and Lebanon, and Acabana, and to all who lived along the seacoast, and to the inhabitants of Carmel and Gilead, or what it says that were heathens, and the upper Galilee, and the great plains of Ashkelon, and to all who were in Samaria and its towns, and beyond Jordan, as far as Jerusalem, and Betim, and Chalice, and Kadesh, and the river Egypt, Tarphim, and Ramesses, and all the land of Goshen, until you pass Tanis and Memphis, and to all who live in Egypt, until you reach the borders of Ethiopia. But all the inhabitants of the land paid no attention to Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and would not go with him to war, for they were not afraid of him, but regarded him as just a single man, and they sent messengers back disappointed in disgrace. Right? And Nebuchadnezzar was very angry with the whole country, and he swore by his throne and his kingdom that he would certainly take vengeance upon all the region of Sicily and Damascus and Syria, and killed with the sword all the inhabitants of the land of Moab and the Ammonites and all Judea and everybody in Egypt, until you come to the coast of the two seas. So what happened was, to tie this together, Nebuchadnezzar getting ready to go to war, but nobody don't really know him. But the Most High with him, just like Cyrus. When you write divided, the Most High chose Cyrus. He chose Nebuchadnezzar. So when Nebuchadnezzar went out to fight, he got to heaven with him. You got these 7 angels with him, but nobody understood that, so they didn't respect him. They thought he was just some clown that wanted to rule. So Nebuchadnezzar vowed a vow. Everybody he had sent a letter to, he said, when I come back from this war, after I defeat the Assyrians, because Syrians was the strongest army back at that time, before Nebuchadnezzar came on the scene. So he went and he conquered the Syrians, just like Nahum said. And after he conquered them, he came back and took vengeance on all the people that didn't respond to him. And that's what he's talking about. Nahum is prophesying. He's going to come with great fury and anger. That's the Lord of hosts behind Nebuchadnezzar. And he wiped that whole region out. So you won't know that if you know that ain't being tied together for you. They got stuff stuck over here and stuff stuck over there for you. You can't rightly divide it. Like I said, these so-called minor prophets, before these wicked Edomites and these Europeans got hold to our books, they had way more chapters in it than that. It's no way under the sun that when you start dealing with what happened with the Assyrians and with the 10 tribes, it's gonna be more than 2 chapters. It's only 3 chapters in the book of Nahum. That makes no sense. Okay, so and the whole purpose behind that was to build up the lie that they made to tell you that the 10 tribes came over here to America. But we know better than that, because we know where the 10 tribes is now. We know where they are. They're in Africa. They didn't come over here. It's crazy. So, with that being said, anybody got any comments on that? Yeah, let me see this right here. It says, read all of Jeremiah 51. Okay, let me see how long that is. Okay. Okay. Okay, Jeremiah 51. Okay. Whoa. Okay, yeah, so this Jeremiah 51 is the judgment on is when Cyrus comes to judge Babylon. So it says, I'm going to read some of it. Thus said the Lord, behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me a destroying wind. And I will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. Yeah. So Jeremiah is prophesying about Cyrus coming. This is a good point. Just like Nahum was prophesying that Nebuchadnezzar was gonna come. Right. Okay. But if anybody want to read what Jeremiah is saying about Cyrus, you can read it right here in verse 51. Right. Okay. Anybody else got anything? We don't wait for our deliverance. We are commanded to go. Get out of Babylon. Our captivity, right? Okay. Well, it's a process when it comes to that. When you come to rightly dividing it, he put the spirit on certain people. He raised their spirits to some to leave, and then it's a mass migration coming. That's like when they left Babylon. It was 3 different migrations happening. You had the first one was Zerubbabel and Joshua, the king and the high priest. It's a great contingent that left when Darius gave Zerubbabel the commandment to go back. Then you had Nehemiah. Nehemiah left when he had a group of people with him, and then the biggest group came with Ezra. So it's nothing new under the sun. The same way it's going to happen now, in the same way it happened in Egypt. But just like when the 12 tribes, when you go to Egypt, Mosai, knowing beginning from the end, he had 11 boys to run Joseph into Egypt. So when Israel, Jacob's children got there, Joseph was already there. There was reason for that. So it's the same thing with this. That's how he worked. Okay. Okay, so somebody said, can you elaborate some of the book of Daniel being in the New Testament? Yeah, let me give you an example right here. Let me get it right quick. Okay, so I'm in Daniel, right? I'm in the book of Daniel, and it says, chapter 8. Chapter 8, let me get it. It says, chapter 7. This is when Daniel saw the, hold up, let me get it right. Okay, let me get it right. Yeah, it's chapter 7. So it says, verse 19, then I would know, this Gabriel breaking down the vision that Daniel had. And he says, then I would know, this is Daniel 7, verse 19, then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, right? Which was diverse from all the other exceedingly dreadful, whose teeth were of iron and his nails of brass, which devour and break in pieces and stomp his residue of his feet. Then 20, and the 10 horns that were in his head, and of other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even that horn that had eyes and a mouth that spake very great things, whose looks were more stout than his fellows, right? It says, and I beheld the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them. So when you understand this right here, this is Constantine, because the Roman Empire fell, the beast, it's 4 beasts. The Roman Empire received the womb and the head. That's when those giants, the Visigoths and the Vandals, and there's another group of giants came into Rome and sacked it. And they set up shop in Rome for almost 2 years, and the whole Roman Empire became discombobulated, and it's split into four different sections. And then Constantine was a ruler over one section, but Constantine eventually subdued the other three. That's what they're telling you right there. Now read it again. And the 10 horns that were in his head, and the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell, right? So said the beast see the womb and the head and did live. It was over the Roman Empire. Then they sacked it. When Constantine brought it back together, he brought it back as the Holy Roman Empire. Because after that, they concocted got our records. That's how they concocted the New Testament and created the Christian religion. And that's what brought the beast back to life. So, but anyway, my point is that he says in 20, and the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up before, Ms. Hope say, and before whom 3 fell, even that horn that had eyes and had a mouth and spoke very great things, whose looks were more stout than his fellow, I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them, right? So if you look at 19, then I would know that the truth of the 4th beast, which is diverse from all others, exceedingly dreadful, whose teeth of iron and nails of brass, and it devoured the whole earth. You go to Revelations. So Revelations ain't all. Revelations is the book of Zechariah, the book of Jeremiah, the book of Daniel. They got all different chapters. They didn't all combine together and put them in the Revelations. Let me give you an example of that. So I'm in Revelation. Revelations, and it says chapter 12, I think it is. Yeah, chapter 12 right here. So it says, chapter 12, the sun-clad woman. There appeared a great wonder in heaven, right? A woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and and upon her head was a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered, right? Then here we go. 3. This stuck in here. This come out of the book of Daniel. It says, and there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon having 7 heads, 10 horns, 7 crowns upon his head. That's straight out of the book of Daniel. But it's out of context. So 4, and his tail drew a third part of the angels and did cast them down to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to deliver her to devour her child as soon as it was born. So let's look at these 2 verses. So we know that verse 3 says, and there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 like I said, it's a group of people concocted this. Edomites, and Alexandria. So they got this right here from Daniel. But look at this right here, verse 4. And his tail drew a third part of the stars of heaven and cast them to the ground. So let's look at that. Didn't that happen in the beginning? When Satan was kicked out of heaven? He says Satan drew a third part of the angels. Satan, when he was cast out of heaven in the beginning, before Genesis 1:1, he drew a third part of the angels and they fell to heaven. So they didn't took Revelation 12, verse 3 out of Daniel. There appeared another one in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon having 7 heads, 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his head. This didn't happen right here. This 4 beasts didn't come on the scene until after Daniel had passed away. But they tied into verse 4 to way in the beginning. The 4 beasts, this dragon, which is a beast. It's not Satan is a dragon. This third beast right here is a system. The Roman Empire. And verse 4 says, and his tail drew a third part of the angel. That's Satan did that, not the 4th beast. Then we're gonna even keep going. It says, and she brought forth a man child. Who the man child is. Let's go look at who the man child is. I'm in Isaiah 66. You're going to see who the man-child is. Isaiah 66. Okay. Isaiah 66, right? Start at verse 1. Thus says the Lord, this is the future of Zion. And the Most High got a promise that he's going to resurrect David. He's going to resurrect David and bring him back, right? So it says, thus says the Lord, the heavens is my throne, the earth is my footstool. Where is the house that ye built for me, and where is the place of my rest? For all these things have mine hands made, and all those things have been, saith the Lord. But this man, will I look, even to him that is poor and of contrite spirit, and trembles at my word. He that killeth an ox is as if he slew a man, and he that sacrificed a lamb is as if he cut off a dog's neck. He that offereth an oblation as if he offered swine's blood. He that burns an incense as if he blessed an idol. Yet they have chosen their own ways, and their soul delighteth in their abominations. I also will choose their delusions, and I will bring their fears upon them, because when I called, they did not answer. When I spake, they did not hear, but they did evil before mine eyes, and chose that which I delighted not. Here we go. Hear the words of the Lord, ye that tremble at his word, your brethren that hated you, that cast you out for my name's sake. This when Obadiah, when Esau cast Israelites out of the land of Israel back in 143 BC and stole the land because the Lord of hosts was there, right? It says, hear the Lord, hear the word of the Lord, ye that tremble at his word, your brethren that hated you, that cast you out for my name's sake, said, let the Lord be glorified, but he shall appear to your joy, and they shall be ashamed. Then verse 6, a voice, this is the voice of the Lord, a voice of noise from the city, from Jerusalem, a voice from the temple, a voice of the Lord that rendered recompense to his enemies. Before she travailed, we're going to see who this she is. Before she travailed, she brought forth. Before her pains came, she was delivered of a man-child. Here go the man-child. Let's see who it is. 8, who have heard such a thing? Who have seen such a thing? Shall the earth is the woman. The earth is the woman up here in verse 7 that's travailing in birth. Shall the earth, says, who have heard such a thing? Who have seen such a thing? Shall the earth be made to bring forth in one day? Or shall a nation, so it's a whole nation. That's Ezekiel 37. He tells you in verse 11, he resurrected these bones as a whole house of Israel. He resurrected all of them. I'm going to go there in a minute. So he says, to bring forth in one day, or shall a nation be born at once? For as soon as Zion travailed, she brought forth her children. So when you go back to verse 7, before she travailed, she brought forth. Before her pains came, she was delivered of a man-child. That's David. He got to resurrect David before he resurrect the whole nation of Israel. David over them. You got this. David is a promise. All the kings that ruled in Israel is out of David's lineage. The throne is David. Let me make that more clear. In Psalms 132. Psalms 132 says, I'm gonna start at verse 11, but you can read the whole thing when you want to. It says, the Lord hath sworn in truth unto David, he will not turn from me. Of the fruit of his body will I set upon thy throne. So see, I told you that all the kings in Israel come out of David's lineage. It's David's throne. 12, if thy children will keep my covenant and my testimony that I shall teach them, their children shall also sit upon thy throne, David's throne, forevermore. For the Lord hath chosen Zion, right? He hath desired it for his habitation. This is my rest forever. Here will I dwell, for I desired it. I will abundantly bless her provisions. I will satisfy her poor with bread, and I will also clothe her priests with salvation, and her saints is somebody that was dead and come back to life. That's Ezekiel 37. And her saints shall shout aloud for joy. Now here we go. Verse 17. There will I make the horn of David to bud. If it's going to bud, it's got to be in the ground. The only way to get a seed to come up, you got to plant it in the ground first. Then you catch a bud and come up. So he says, there will I make the horn of David bud. I have ordained a lamp for mine anointing. His enemies will I clothe with shame, but upon himself, David himself, shall his crown flourish. She's going to put David back on his own throne. That's the man child over here that he resurrected right here in verse Revelations, verse 5. She brought forth a man child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and that child was caught up under God and to his throne. Now, so we know that in Revelation they tell you that's JC. Because so they went to Daniel and got that out of there to use this over here to hoodwink you and say it's JC. So verse 6 say, and the woman fled into the wilderness where she had a place prepared for God, that she would feed her there 1,260 years. And I just showed you that the Israelites fled in Africa. That's the place they went, that he had prepared for them. The west coast of Africa, wasn't nobody living there. No man was living there. All the activity was in around Egypt and all around the Nile River. Wasn't nobody existing over there. So when the Israelites left, they went up to the top of Africa, stayed there for a while at this place called Ashura. Then eventually they found a way down through the Sahara Desert and trickled down to the west coast. And then Deuteronomy 28 caught up with us in 1619. They brought us over here. But this right here is verse 6 when they say the woman fled in the wilderness. You know, that's a trickeration. They're getting this out of the Old Testament and they formulating it, making a New Testament out of it. But they putting everything on JC. So now I'm gonna read this and then I'm gonna be quiet. So let's look at Ezekiel 37 about Israel, this woman that Isaiah 66 talking about, that's gonna give birth to all her children. It's in the Ezekiel 37, and it says right here. I'm just gonna read this, and this should explain it. I'm gonna start at verse 10. So I prophesied as he commanded me, and breath came in them, and they lived, stood upon their feet, and exceeding a great army. That's what I just read in Isaiah 66. Before he do this, he got to raise up the leader over them. That's the man child, David. Then 12. Therefore prophesy and say unto them, thus says the Lord God, behold, O my people, I will open up your graves. See that? So this ain't no symbology or no synonym or whatever you want to call it. He's telling you point blank in 12. Therefore prophesy and say unto them, thus says the Lord God, behold, O my people, I will open up your graves, cause you to come up out of your graves, and I will bring you into the land of Israel. And ye shall know that I am the Lord, when I have opened up your graves, O my people, and brought you up out of your graves, and I shall put my spirit in you. What spirit? The spirit that was in them that left when they died. When Moses died, his spirit was gathered back to the Most High. When Joshua died, the spirit was gathered back to him. David, all the spirit gathered back to him. He says in 14, I shall put my spirit in you, and ye shall live, and I shall place you in your own land. Then shall you know that I, the Lord, have spoken it and performed it, thus said the Lord. So that's what they did. They went back getting scriptures and precepts out of the Old Testament and concocted the New Testament with them, sticking them over in Revelations. That's why when they got you, when you go to seminary, they taking you from Daniel to Revelations, because they hoodwinked. And then when the Creator and the Redeemer is in the Old Testament, the Savior and the Redeemer ain't in the New Testament. The Redeemer is in the Old Testament. Let me read that, and then we can, anybody got any comments. So Isaiah 43. You go to the Redeemer right here. It nullifies the New Testament. He says, 43 verse 12 says, no, I'm in the wrong place. Okay, for Isaiah 43 and 12. Isaiah, right? 43 says, verse 9, let all the nations be gathered together, and let the people be assembled. Who among them can declare this and show us former things? Let them bring forth their witnesses, that they may be justified. or let them hear and say, it is true. Ye are my witnesses, talking to the Israelites, said the Lord, and my servant whom I have chosen, that ye may know and believe me, understand that I am he. Before me there was no El formed, neither shall there be after me. Yahweh wasn't formed, so this ain't Yahweh, this is an angel. 11, even I am the Lord, and besides me there's no Savior. So here goes Savior way back here in Isaiah. Savior and Redeemer is synonyms. So he is right here. I have declared, I have saved, I have showed when there was no strange God among you. Therefore ye are my witnesses, said the Lord, that I am God. Before the day was, I am he, and there is none that can deliver. Savior, Redeemer, and Deliverer, the same thing. Yea, before the day was, I am he. There is none that can deliver out of my hands. I will work, and who shall let it? Okay, so with that being said, I was going to open it up for anybody got any comments or anything before we close out? Everybody good? You good, Michelle?
I am.
Okay, yeah. So I hope that answered the question. Yeah, so that's just one example. I mean, you hang around, you're gonna get a whole lot of them. But that's just one example how they, it's called typology. Just like numerology and geometry. It come out of Egypt. It's types. That's what typology is. You take a type, the actual person that did what they did. But when you come and put somebody else in the equation, now the original person is a type, and the one that you just concocted, he's supposedly the original. It's like Moses. All of a sudden, when you bring JC on the scene, now Moses is a type of JC. That's how they worked it. Okay, see what they got to say right here. All right, we understand that it's two different nations that they were divided during the time of Solomon, southern and northern kingdom. So no, they're not all just in Africa. I mean, we were scattered. The Most High says that right before he got rid of Israel and Judah was the whole head is sick. Who was the head? Judah, Benjamin, Levi. Who did they come and get on the transatlantic slave trade? Judah, Benjamin, Levi. So no, they're not just all in Africa. They scattered all over the Americas, scattered all in the Caribbeans, Great Britain. They scattered all over the place. But the 10 tribes, predominant, the major amount of the 10 tribes is in Ephraim, is in Africa, where they fled to after they was released from their Syrian captivity by Cyrus. Okay, so with that being said, if nobody have anything else, let me play this right quick. I mean, let me play this. Okay, hold up. Let me get this right quick. Hebrews, got an update for you. Working on another building, Shiloh coming along, for those who concerned. Okay, okay. Okay. Yeah. Use your help to support Shalom. Okay, so what I'm just showed you is, I don't want to talk too much about it for all the naysayers, but it's a place of refuge. Just like when they crossed over from the Jordan, when they got to the land of Canaan, they set up Shiloh. Understanding what's getting ready to happen. If you're not looking around and paying attention, the Most High turning everything upside down. So he has certain people building in certain places for refuge. So for those who have ears to hear and eyes to see, if you feel need to contribute, then you contribute. Other than that, keep doing what you're doing. So I showed you that for a reason. Okay, so with that being said, we got the Cash App and the PayPal thing running across the bottom of the screen. If you go back and watch the video. So with that being said, I wanted to say, let me hit my little. Okay, so shalom, and I'll see everybody this evening at 6 o'clock for our evening Sabbath class, so we can close out the Sabbath the right way. So with that being said, shalom, shalom, and another shalom.
Shalom, everyone.